Hi, Marie. Welcome to the show today. It's really great to have you on.
Hi, Simon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me.
That's all right. So, could you give us a quick intro, a background? I'd love to understand a little bit about your journey moving from being a CFO and now into being more of an AI consultant, if you like.
Yeah, I went from European CFO for a software company actually,
Wow.
and from there I set up my own accountancy practice. I always had the idea that I wanted to be run my own business, so I set up an accountancy practice and ran that for 5 years, and then went on to do some consultancy work, working with businesses to kind of smarten up processes
Yep.
within. And then 3 years ago, my ex MD, actually from the software company, he rang me and he said, "I think I've got something that you'll be really interested in." And it was working with an AI company to develop processes, and it was around the accounts receivable
Hmm.
processes, so smartening up debt
Yeah.
collection, which was
Right.
that was my introduction to AI and working
Wow.
with AI companies.
Okay. Fantastic. So traditional route in, worked up the ladder, if you like, within finance roles, and then followed the dream to set up your own business, and then started getting more and more involved in AI. What was it specifically that got you really interested in AI and automation?
It was, I mean, the more when I was introduced, I thought I didn't know what it was all about. So I love a learning journey. So it was very much a learning
Yeah.
curve for me, finding out. And then I thought there was a real need for, because the guys that I was working with, are some fantastic data scientists and developers, but it's that understanding of actually the finance process, which I think, accountants are really well placed to, to get into this space, into the
Mm.
AI space, because we know, we're very aware of the guardrails that we need within finance. So, when somebody does develop an AI product,
Yeah.
we've got to be very mindful of, of the compliance side
Yeah.
of finance.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And so what are you up to today? Just for the listeners to understand what you're up to, who you help. What does that look like today?
Today, it's because of my background in, say in finance and working, I when I hear the term fractional CFO, I never thought of myself as that then, but
Hmm.
I very much was. I didn't just want to do the compliance work. I wanted to help businesses to grow, to help their clients to grow. So it's really becoming that finance business partner. So I work with fractional CFOs who they just haven't got the time really to investigate what's out there. The
Right.
same as I was 3 years ago. It's like, what is
Yeah.
this about?
Yeah.
What can it do? How can it help? So I work with fractional CFOs to look at I call it taking the helicopter view of the business and
Yeah.
seeing how we can enhance that.
Fantastic. And fractional CFO, some people actually haven't heard of it. Sometimes I'll chat to somebody and I'll say the term fractional CFO, and some people still haven't heard of it. So could you just describe that in case anyone listening doesn't understand what a fractional CFO is?
Yeah, that was something that somebody asked. Yeah, well, I've been asked quite a few times.
Yeah,
So
I get asked. Yeah.
yeah, so it's been that CFO to that business. I mean, when you run a small business, you haven't got either the financial resource or you don't actually need somebody full time in that
Mm.
business. So it's offering the service of a CFO to a small business,
Yeah.
which is can be really powerful for a
Yes.
small business.
Yeah, because most small businesses can't afford a heavyweight, a big, very experienced CFO, and they wouldn't need that person full time. But being able to get a day a week or a fraction of their time, to be able to come in and help with the strategic side is really valuable. But you also don't want to have to pay them to do all the other work. So you can then have a different shaped team where you've got a very experienced fractional CFO who possibly leads the finance team, but you can have other earlier career resources, cheaper resources, and technology as well, right?
Yeah, and it's great to be able to buy in that, that service
That
for a small
expertise.
business, that expertise,
Yeah.
that and it can be really kind of you can be very focused as a fractional CFO on that
Mm.
just on growing whatever that business needs or wants.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. So so today we're going to talk about AI and finance, and some of the tools and techniques that you're working with, that you're advising your customers with. Maybe just before we do that, do you have an AI related innovation or gadget that you use all the time, maybe at work or maybe at home, that you can't live without?
I mean, I use ChatGPT every day.
Uh
I
huh.
find it, especially when you're kind of a solopreneur, it's great just to bounce. I love just bouncing ideas in
Yeah.
there, and I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the more you get used to using it, the better.
Yeah.
The better it gets. I mean, I do post quite a lot on LinkedIn, and I'm not the best kind of at that
Hmm.
side of, but it can just give you some just great ideas,
Yeah.
or even I even score my posts, get it to be my like content editor and get it to score my posts for me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Yes. Have you ever tried? I tried. Somebody told me about using ChatGPT voice recently, because I love to sit at a whiteboard. My whole wall in my office here is a whiteboard, so I've got lots of whiteboard space. But I like to be able to kind of chat to other people, and but I sit on my own in my own office a lot. So I switched on ChatGPT, the chat feature. You can actually talk to it and have a really brilliant conversation with it. And so I'm standing at the board. I'm like kind of ideating. Okay, what would we do if we started to serve this new market? Tell me about that market. What do you know? And obviously, you have to ask the right question in the right way. But it can be that it's like another person's in the room giving you insights. Oh, what's the population of X country, or
Yeah,
how
it's
many of these size businesses are there in the Europe? Or yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
yeah, it's just like a sounding board, really.
Yeah,
That's you can use it as a sounding board, and sometimes I think, oh my god, I'm actually it's like my little sidekick, but it's just when if you are an ideas person as well and
yeah,
and you think, oh, I can just let's just get that in there. I think the danger is just not spending
right,
too much time on it, because you can get quite involved, really.
right,
But
yes, yeah, yeah. There's a lot. It changes a lot, changes fast, and sometimes you've got to just get the job done and get a post posted or get a thing finished.
yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
It's you've got to really kind of. It's just for me, it's like a framework, and then I
yeah,
can take that and work. I'll give it. You're giving it the idea anyway, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Fantastic. And if you weren't working in finance or AI, what would you be doing right now?
I love actually, and I do a bit. I love mentoring, and I love
Okay.
to actually, you know, I've, I do get people approach me and say, "Would you kind of mentor me?" Or so. I love that side of it, and
Coaching,
actually
mentoring. Yeah.
encouraging. And I think that there's. I think within finance, like people say, "Oh, you must have been great at maths, and you must have been," and it's like not really.
Yeah.
I do love numbers, and I
Yeah.
do love, but I think being a solution, looking for solutions is a great aspect of being, being an
Yeah.
accountant really. So I love to, encourage and say, yeah, you can do it. I do some. I live in Spain at the moment, but when I was living in my local town, I love to work with the youth zone. We've got a youth
Yeah.
zone in Wigan,
Okay.
and I would get the opportunity to work with, like a 16-year-old who, and it's like giving them that confidence, and
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Mentoring,
go and
coaching. Wow.
get out there and do
Yeah.
it. You can do it. So I love that side of,
Yes.
working in.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So today we want to talk about well, I want to talk about this is me me coming up with names. So I thought, we'd talk about the transformative potential of AI, and that you would be the fantastic person to talk to about it. How do you envisage AI transforming the role of finance, and what a finance person's doing? Like, what's happening right now, and then maybe what do you think will happen in the long run when we start embracing it more and more?
Yeah. I mean, we've got within accountancy, we've only got probably about 20% who are digital. So
Wow.
we're really a long way. Those are the figures that I've seen.
Hmm.
So just getting us digital, and then the the actual AI. And I just see it taking I mean, a lot of the time when you work in finance, you're always working to deadlines.
Yeah.
You're always trying to, there's always that thing that you want to do during that month, and you don't get to do it. So I just see it that we're getting away from the robotic. We're giving the robotic work to the bots, and it frees us up because how many talented, qualified people are doing quite robotic roles within finance and don't get time for that strategic and the
Yeah.
creative stuff.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
do hell of a lot of training and exams, and
Yeah.
how much of it do we get to actually put into practice?
Yeah. Because we spend all of our time churning through rows and spreadsheets, or pulling together data from different places. So just give me that again? So the move to digital. So you think the stats you said was 20% of companies are still not digital, not
Not
digital.
not because we need to get to be fully automated before. A lot of people are now trying to jump from into AI, but we really
Hmm.
need to get the automation taken
Yeah.
care of, and then we can move on to AI.
Right. 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 Okay. Yes. And then what about right across the finance realm? If you maybe think about as a CFO, you've got you'd have different people in the team doing, your bank reconciliation, your accounts receivable, accounts payable, etc., right the way through to management reports and planning, which is where I love to spend my time. What what do you see happening right across the different areas of finance, even right now? What's happening?
Within the say reconciliations, I mean the bots can take care of reconciliations, posting journals.
Hmm.
There's some great tools now for accounts payable where before we would be like kind of scanning documents in, and now we've that which uses OCR technology. Now we've
Yeah.
got ICR technology, which can take it straight from the email and straight into the accounting system. So, and that's working kind of 10 times faster
Mm.
than a human could, on the accuracy that you get there.
Yeah.
Plus, the it's great for fraud detection
Hmm.
and duplications. So it's really kind of smartening up the transactional side of finance. We're gonna see that disappear really.
Mm.
There's always going to be a need for teams to, but we get to do more of the this, what I would call like the second tier. We've got this transactional
Yeah.
robotic where let's take that out and let's get
Yeah.
on to the next tier of finance.
The strategic, the strategic piece.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Amazing.
create, being creative.
Okay. So we've got different bots that you can go and plug in different places. And then, and how does that typically work? So maybe just talk me through how that's typically working. Somebody would pull in an accounting system. Would they wait for the accounting software vendor, whoever they choose, Xero, QuickBooks, NetSuite, Accounts IQ, etc.? Should they be waiting for those vendors to add all these AI features, or should they go out and find other tools that can help them? What's the what? How do you approach recommend?
I think the from what I've seen, the zeros, they've been quite slow
Mm-hmm.
off the mark to get
Yeah,
this, because there's already features within. We've got the bank feeds, which speeded that up a lot, and then
yeah,
we've but just the next step to that is just getting those reconciliations done when it's obvious that it's correct. We seem to be slow on that, but there is companies out there that are already doing that and filling those gaps
mm-hmm.
for companies.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So if you sit down with a finance professional, a CFO or a finance team, what sort of process would you go through to help them figure out where they should focus, where they should start their AI journey?
Yeah, I mean it is very bespoke, really, because
Mm.
we've all using different softwares, we're all at different stages. But what I say is, I just take the helicopter view of the business.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at it. What's causing you the most pain, taking the most time, and then let's look at a solution around that. Now that might be, if you're doing a lot of bookkeeping for clients, it could be a bot that does the bookkeeping for you. If you've got big purchase ledger clients with big purchase ledger, you can get those supplier invoices posted
Hmm.
without kind of any human intervention.
Okay. So helicopter view, and then maybe sounds like prioritization, but around pain, the amount of time you're spending, opportunities to save time, etc. And then you can start coming up with your priority list of what to focus on.
Yeah. And then, we get, once we can, I say it's like your engine room, isn't it? Get that engine room really
Yeah.
working. And then you've then got time for the reporting and the strategic. That's
Yeah.
where, we can quickly get to that. Whereas at the
Hmm.
moment, it can, the, the back office, bringing everything together can take up most of the time,
Yeah.
and that we
Yeah.
could be spending better.
Yeah. Yeah. We can find ourselves in debt where basically we're spending all of our month doing manual pieces to try and sort out the
Yeah.
data. But then month end, then the next month end happens, and you're actually still sorting out last month, or you're still haven't sorted your year end. So you can
Yeah.
find yourself in debt. So you've got to figure out, how do I get out of debt, and then how do I create even more time so that I can free up my time to then focus on real strategic value add, which is sitting down with a business and helping them think about the things that are going to move the needle and help them
Yeah.
grow.
And be that finance business partner that,
Mm.
clients want,
Yeah.
that when you're working within a company, I think that finance could be seen as being very, very close shot within a business. And we need to, we're the ones who kind of hold a lot. We know we're involved in every piece of that business. Everything affects us, everything comes in. We're like the hub of that business, and that's how it should be. treated that, we've got a lot of information that we can help, going with each budget holder. We can
Yeah.
really kind of help them do their job, but we need to be that business partner within the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Yeah, you need the right, and you need a bit of time. You need to be able to create space for that. Yeah, because it's time consuming stuff, isn't it? To do
Yeah,
that right. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's talk maybe about a couple of specific tools that you like or that you've tended to recommend. So, do you have any recent examples working with customers where they had a problem and you help them, or you help suggest a specific solution or tool? What are some good tools that are out there?
I mean, one of the ones that I really, I think is great is I think I mentioned before about this. We've got this ICR technology now,
Okay.
which has overtaken like OCR.
Yeah.
So it's very much going straight from an email. We don't even need
Someone's at the front door.
to kind of touch the the technology can read the email, get that document, and put it straight into
Hmm.
your accounting package without any human touch, which is great because
Yeah.
it's that can save a hell of a lot of time. That's one that I really like, and it's there's a continual learning. I mean, you start off, you have to invest time to
Yeah.
kind of train it, but then once you've
Yeah.
done that training, you're not going to have to do it again. And then for me, it's the FP&A tools that we've got now. I mean, when you work with spreadsheets and the errors and the always that concern whether the version's correct that you've
Yeah.
got,
Yeah.
the updates, and you're trying to pull this set of accounts together. But we've got some great FP&A tools now.
Yeah.
And also that we can get these different scenarios. We think, like we said before about the time's always a problem, but with some of the P&L tools that we've got now,
Hmm.
it's fantastic. We can do that scenario. We can do it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. What's I'm interested in the ICR technology you're talking about. What's the product name? What's the company that's building the solution in that space?
The company that I've been kind of partnering with is Genesis.
Okay.
Genesis IO, and they've got we call him Jack. So
Okay.
Jack AI becomes your co-pilot. So it's really kind of doing the bookkeeping for you.
Yeah.
So it's a massive time saver for
Okay.
companies.
Okay. Cool. So if you were a bookkeeper right now and you wanted to implement that, what would that look like? You would procure the software, get Jack, the AI, to sit in your accounts inbox and grab any documents as they come in and process them, understand what's going on, push them straight into the system, and then you can check it. Or how does that look?
Yeah. So that's it really. What you've just
Yeah.
said, Simon. It's yeah. So it's taking them, but there is some training. We need
Hmm.
to at the beginning of any kind of AI project that you undertake. You need to invest in kind of training the
Sure.
bot basically.
Hmm.
But then it will get better and better over time, and you only ever need to show it once.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a real time saver.
Very cool. Um, and what are some of the most common misconceptions that you find as you work with teams helping them embrace AI in finance? What are some of those you know out of date beliefs perhaps that you tend to have to pop and burst when you sort of sit when people down and tell them actually no, things have changed?
I think the thing is that a lot of people don't realise that this tech's been around for a long time. It's just
Mm,
become more mainstream.
Sure.
So, if you like go back to like the Second World War with Alan Turing and, read about what was going on then, and we've just developed and developed since then. So it's not new. It's just become mainstream, which is great because it's, small companies
Mm.
have now got, it's more of a level playing field. We can kind of use this tech, like when I talk about Jack, that's just, you just pay for Jack by the hour.
Right.
So
Okay.
if he's not working, he's not getting paid. So,
Hmm.
and that's what I love about it, that it is affordable
Yeah.
to a small business. If I was setting up my practice again,
Yeah.
then I would know that I could scale my practice, because my biggest problem was getting the right kind of team with the right
Yeah.
ability at the right time when you're
The right.
working
Yeah.
in a small business. We talked about CFOs before, and
Hmm.
you could have somebody highly qualified, who is not doing the work that you end up using them for other tasks that are way beneath the skill set. And I think the myth about jobs are going to go. I think the way that we work is changing anyway.
Yeah.
So and just to like I say, for me, it's like seeing those seeing people upskilled,
Mm.
and doing a lot more creative and strategic work than
Yeah.
doing,
Yes.
take the
Much,
robotic
much
out
more
of our day.
fulfilling. Yeah. Exactly. So we can get them away from manually sitting in an inbox and just you know looking at an invoice and putting the right date, the right amount, or checking for VAT, or all this sort of stuff. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What about areas, biggest potential? Something, the things that excite you. What do you think is the biggest potential for future tech in this space?
The biggest potential within finance,
Yeah, yeah,
I think it is just move. I've probably said it a few times, but just upskilling us to
mm,
get us more into that, becoming a lot more client centric, a lot more people centric than we've been, because it's like where we started in finance. When I started in finance a long time
yeah,
ago, we
yeah,
were very much a hub, and we were very much, you know, within that company, and very interested in what was going on in all the different departments. And I think we've gone kind of behind the screens.
mm,
We've all and I think that we're coming out. I see a lot of good work going on, in the talking about finance business partnering, which I
yeah,
think is very very exciting. And that's, we're moving. Why should we have been talking? That should have been happening, but it's not. We've become the robots within
mm,
finance, and we need to get back out there. And
yeah,
that's the most exciting thing for me, and
yeah,
upskilling people.
yeah, yeah. Do you think that we are at the point where you can pretty much have a completely digitized finance function, or with, or do you think we'll get there? Do you think that's where we want to go, or do you think that we're at the point where we can have an entire finance function run by one fractional, one part-time expert that can just come in and deal with any issues? What do you think?
I do think that with the anything that's transactional will disappear,
Yeah,
and I just see that it's going to be like, there's our engine room. Let's just keep it oiled and make sure
yeah,
it's all right. But
hmm,
then we, as the finance professionals, are gonna be here, and we're going to be the ones that are doing the strategic,
yeah,
creative thinking.
yeah,
But it will be just like the engine of your car. Really, that's how I
yeah,
see it. We'll get in it, we'll drive it,
yeah,
but we won't have to get. We'll have somebody
yeah.
just servicing it, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I love that analogy. We sort of in the past, we have dived in and brought people to do the bookkeeping, to do the accounts payable, the bank payments, all these things, and then so yeah, imagine that you've got all these people sitting in the engine room manually doing this, handing data off. Whereas where we're at now, you can automate so much of that, and the interfaces are getting better between the softwares, between the parts, if you like,
Yeah.
in that analogy. So you can connect them together, and you know that you can kind of trust that connection. And every now and again, there might be an issue, and somebody needs to come in and have a look. But yeah, it's becoming more of like a digital engine that you can really rely on, that works well. So we can free ourselves up to go and advise and guide, as our fantastic entrepreneurs and business leaders drive us forward and chase for growth. Yeah, that's a really I love that analogy actually.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll be the drivers, and
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. So let's just jump into a quick fire round of questions. Um, so so I will just rattle off some questions, and if you could just give me the quickest answer you can, and let's just see how we go. So, um, predictive AI or generative AI, what excites you more for the future of finance?
Um, predictive, predict. To be honest, both. But
Right.
if I if I had to choose one at the minute where we're at now, I would
Hmm.
say predictive AI, because I
Yeah.
think for companies, I think that's it's fantastic. I know, we won't even be relying on that. If a director needs an answer to
Hmm.
something, we can use predictive. If he's, because it's not relying on just our ideas; it's
Yeah.
any idea within
Yeah.
a company. So we can use predictive AI.
Yeah. Yeah. So the generative could kind of understand the question, but then, yeah, then you've got a modeling engine or a mathematical, modeling capability that can predict using some really advanced techniques to actually predict what could happen,
Yeah,
show those scenarios.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like I say, it won't be just a finance person who would come up with that. It can
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
yeah, anybody within the company,
Yeah. So give people
and
access to
ask,
all the
ask.
right models. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm.
Um, um, let's go with one word to describe the future of finance with AI.
Ooh, exciting, I would say. I think it's
Love it.
very exciting space to be in at the minute. That's why, like I say, I probably should have retired 3 years ago, but I find it so exciting.
Fantastic. What's your go-to productivity hack to keep you on top of your game?
Um, it's the continual learning for me. You've got to kind of, just keep learning. There's some fantastic resources out there. I mean, Andrew and I, like Coursera, that's where I kind
Hmm.
of started my learning. So it's
Yeah,
just the continual learning.
yeah, fantastic. What's your favorite phrase or quote?
Automate the dull stuff and get on with the fun stuff.
Love it, love it. That makes a lot of sense. What's your favorite chart or visual, and why?
My favourite chart or visual. I love a pie chart. Being from Wigan,
Uh huh.
they call us the pie eaters, so I love a pie chart.
Is that right? I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I've ever been to Wigan.
Have you
Is
not?
it is it big? Is it big on pies?
Oh, very. Yeah, very
Okay.
big on. Yeah, we do like a pie in Wigan. Yeah.
Okay. So that translates into your chart selection.
Yeah, so it's always when I was training, it was always the pie chart. I
There
do
you
like
go.
it though. I do like the visuals are great, aren't they? I used to use them a lot with
Hmm.
when I was working with companies. Like forget that.
Mm.
It was always depending on who you're dealing with as well. They can be so powerful, can't they? A
Yeah,
visual
yeah,
chart.
yeah, yeah. Charts are really important. Pies are a really simple one. Um, What's the craziest advice you ever gave to a client or colleague?
The craziest advice I've ever given to her. Probably to get out.
Okay.
It's like,
get
yeah,
get out of the country.
to get out of the
That
company.
role.
It's like when
Yeah.
you see, it's probably when I've had to be when I've had good staff working for me, and I've
Mm.
really kind of wanted them to stay, but known that the limit, kind of the ceiling within the company,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'd just and encourage them to kind of to move on, even though I didn't
Yeah.
want them to,
You don't
but
want to lose them, but
yeah,
for their growth, or
yeah.
yes. What's something on your learning list for the next 12 months? What's something that you're looking to learn about right now?
I think for me, it's been very much. We're at a stage where it's very much like taking care of the transactional. But I think the really exciting part of AI is going to be with the generative and what we're going to kind of find out. So for me, that next stage is, once I've had, like when I'm advising businesses to
Mm.
take care of let's take care of the transactional and the robotic, but the real sweet spot is going to be within the generative. And now we kind of, within the data, and how we run our businesses. So that is really exciting for me.
Right. Yeah. Just help me understand that bit. So in the generative, so are you sort of in applying AI to help bring insights about our business and about our data to help generate understanding, or is it something else?
Yeah, because we're really going to be able to identify, know, it's like we've got tools to kind of know your client,
Mm.
but to actually say, when I was working in my accountancy practice, if I use generative within my data, and it would show me then, this is who you should be working with. This is
Mm.
your client. This is the client who, wants the advice that you're giving them, that wants to grow, and this is this is a good match for you.
Mm.
So I think, we've got a lot of insight within our data that we don't actually use. So this is where generative will really
Yes.
help
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. That's fantastic. And what's something you're looking for help with right now?
Um, to learn Spanish.
Learning Spanish. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm doing that. I said I've got I'm doing that alongside, and I'm finding it tough, to be honest.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, good luck with that. If anyone listening has any tips, I'm sure they'll send them over. What's the best place if people that are listening want to get in touch, ask you questions, follow your journey? Where do they find you? What's your platform
LinkedIn.
of
I'm
choice?
very much a LinkedIn
LinkedIn.
person. That's where I
Fantastic.
kind of spend
Yeah.
most of my time.
Great. Marvelous. Marie, thanks so much for coming on. It's been an absolute privilege to chat through this very exciting topic. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And I appreciate you
Well,
coming on.
thank you, Simon. It's been great.
All
Thanks for
right.
inviting
Excellent.
me.
All right. Thanks very much.
Bye.